Weather, it all seems better. Well, President Ramaphosa last night confirmed that schools would reopen today. That's the 26th of July. And primary school learners are set to return to daily classes from the 2nd of August. But the loss of valuable teaching time since 2020 has had a devastating effect on the education sector. Our reporter Mahlako Komane is with the Gauteng MEC for Education, Panyaza Lesufi, at the Eureka High School in Springs. Grades R to 7 will resume daily school attendance from the 2nd of August, just as a reminder. But let's cross now to Mahlako to find out exactly how things are there back on the first day and, of course, what's to be expected. Mahlako, so many issues to deal with. Good morning to you.
Good morning indeed, Sakina. I think you're quite correct. A lot of issues in this sector. I mean, this is quite a busy sector, a sector that faces quite a lot of challenges. But I think in the interest of time, I'm just going to go straight and start asking, the MEC for Education in this province, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, as to, what is the plan going forward, especially as you've just said that primary school learners will be back in the classroom on a full-time basis from the 2nd of August. MEC, thank you so much for talking to us. I think maybe how in terms of readiness today, are you happy with what you're seeing, the reports that you're getting across the province? I mean, it's quite a big province in terms of the numbers of schools that you have as well as pupils.
No, we are. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We are a little bit comfortable now that we're at 98% in terms of readiness. Just worried that the high school component will continue to come back on a rotational basis. But we are happy that at least the primary schools, they will be here full time so that they don't have to rotate. The only area that you need to work around is the support systems. And the three important components of the support system is the educators. And you might be aware that we are at 93% in this province in terms of the educators that are vaccinated. So we still have 7% that is not vaccinated. And you have roughly 4,000 that have applied to teach from home. So we need to manage that. Secondly is the infrastructure. Can the infrastructure cope? So we're putting in additional mobile classroom and other things. Thirdly is anxiety. I mean, there are parents that they don't think that it's safe to bring their children, and there are learners that they don't think that it's safe to come back. So we have to manage that aspect. If we can get those three components right, I really feel that we can have the system back on track, functional as well.
And in terms of next week, you did talk about additional, infrastructure that you bring in your mobile classrooms and so forth. What is it that you've done? I mean, you do have schools that have numbers in terms of classroom capacity. We did hear the minister saying that they're applying to have that 1.5 meter moved to a meter. What's the plan in Gauteng? How far are your plans? Are you happy, considering that we also know budget is an issue when it comes to issues like mobile classrooms, building of schools? What's the plan there? You have your hotspots, if you want to call it, in terms of numbers. What's going on in those areas?
Well, we've managed to acquire almost 400 mobile classrooms. And I can tell you they're not enough, but within the immediate budget is a major improvement so that we can manage the social distancing, the sanitization, as well as the other COVID regulations. But our plea is that let's monitor the situation and check if the schools are not super spreaders. If the schools are not super spreaders and they confirm the views of experts that children are not people that are spreading, we really believe that will support the movement by the minister to reduce the social distancing component of it. But we must not rush it. We must monitor the situation first, get expert advice, and if experts feel that we can proceed, then we can be in a position to proceed.
And I think as a province, in the next meetings that you will be having with the minister, are you going to be pushing for high school learners to come back? I know you run a tight ship. You gauge yourself by what you put out and the quality of those passes. What's your view there?
That's my view. I support that view. That the sooner we bring the high school learners, the better. But must not be reckless. That is why I say let's observe with the primary school educators, learners, especially those are in grade 7, because those are in grade 7, then the age group is not far from those that are in high school. If the grade 7, if we monitor the numbers of infections and those that are sick and the numbers are not that bad, then we'll motivate that even high school learners should come back. Because we risk to have a generation that have missed education. And if we can have a generation that has missed education in these economic hardships, that will be a serious miscarriage of justice. And we have denied these learners their right to access to education. So we need to balance the two. It's very difficult, but we'll try our best.
And in terms of your educators, you did mention about 4,000 have asked to teach from home. There's a circular, I understand, that's made its way around that educators need to explain why they cannot take the vaccine. Is this true? Is this something that you're asking as a province from your employees?
We can't make this huge investment of vaccination within the sector and have people that are using fake news as the reason not to vaccinate. So we need to balance. We need to protect our children. We need to protect the sector. So if there are valid reasons, definitely yes, we'll be in a position to. But if the reasons are not valid, we'll persuade so that people can take the vaccination. We need to protect our children. We need to protect ourselves. And also, we need to ensure that the country is protected as well.
Just a quick one, in terms of curriculum, are you happy with what you're seeing? We understand last year 75% did not happen.
So far so good, but I can tell you we'll be over-ambitious if you think that will conclude the curriculum. We just have to accelerate and go as fast as possible.
Thank you so much, MEC. And as we've heard there, Leanne, that was the MEC for Education in Gauteng, Mr. Panyaza Lesufi, just telling us about the state of readiness of the Gauteng province, as well as, what are the plans in terms of ensuring that next week when primary school learners go back full time, they are able to cope with the numbers. But also just saying that he's generally quite happy with what he's seeing today at Eureka, where he is right now, and also I suppose the reports that he is receiving from the various schools. Back to you, Leanne.
Mahlako, thanks very, very much for that update. Schools, of course, are the ones that we're focusing in on now.